More or Nothing.
Hello and welcome to this week's special episode of MAUL or Nothing with Ryan Max as always, and we are delighted to be joined by Toulouse's brand new superstar signing in the shape of Scotland fullback and sometimes fly half, Blair Kinghorn, living it up in his one-bedroom Airbnb over in Toulouse. How are you doing, Blair?
Very good, thank you very much. Very excited to be on this fantastic podcast.
How are things over in Toulouse?
Things are very good, thank you very much. It's good to see you guys. It's really fun. I'm having fun in my new team.
Hey, wait, it sounds like a ransom video. You're like, pull up the fucking... Is there somebody from Toulouse behind you?
Yeah, no, trust me, I'm having fun.
Are you over there on your own at the moment, Blair?
Currently on my own at the moment. The missus is coming out on Wednesday full time or Thursday full time. She's been back and forth. She came over for Christmas, and now she's coming out full time on Thursday.
Boo!
What? No, come. Please come. Nah, it'll be good. It's lonely when you're used to living with someone. It's lonely when you're by yourself.
And especially when you can't speak any of the language. How is the French, mate?
It's coming along. I can understand more with my French teacher, but when the boys speak, it's almost pointless. But there's a few foreign boys, so I'm getting my daily English quota in by speaking to them. But the rest of it is just carnage, complete carnage.
How often are you doing French lessons? You have to do it. You have to do it, don't you, when you get there? And
yeah, I think it's expected that they don't force you to do it, but they kind of expect you to do it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it'd be frowned upon if you didn't try. At least I think. I've had 4 hours so far. I'm looking to do 2 hours a week.
And did you speak any French when you went?
None.
Nothing.
I did it at school. Well, you know, like just the piss take bits that you kind of know, like whatever.
Ooh la la.
Oui. I get away all day by just saying ça va and salut. Ça va, oui, ça va, ça va. But no, it's coming back to me because I did it at school, so it's kind of coming back to me a little bit. And the boys are helpful.
Yeah, too right. Who have you clicked with? Who's like you literally got there and straight away best buddies like?
Oh yeah. Well, it's weird because all of my best mates back home are weirdos. You know that, Ryan. So I'm breaking down barriers here, slowly but surely.
Hunting the weirdos down.
Yeah, hunting the weirdos, and I've not been too weird myself. I feel like I've been more in my shell. You know, you just got to come in a bit slowly, a bit gracefully, and then boys that I've clicked with: Jack Willis, obviously, good lad. Richie Arnold, good man. The 13, Pierre-Louis Barassi, good lad.
I thought you were going to say you didn't know his name.
No, I'm pretty sure I know everyone's name now. The first week, no idea. I was introducing myself to people like multiple times. They're like, "Oh no, I've met you earlier." I'm like, "Oh, it's tough. It's
Antoine
tough."
Dupont again, like Blair, what's your name?
But no, I'm making friends slowly but surely.
Blair, what was? Yeah, so it's probably the most obvious one, but one I think most people who go to Toulouse, who are rugby fans, want to know about is training with Antoine Dupont. How's that been?
Mm-hmm. Superb is a word I would use. He's a class act. He's beast at code. Like you see him at games and you're like, oh, he's good at code. But then you see him at training, you're like, oh, he's actually beast at code. It's just not fair. He's world class. A lot of the boys here, which you see in games, they're like, oh, they're a class of rugby. You see them in training, you kind of get a better understanding of how good they actually are. And he's certainly one of them. He's a good rugby player.
I chucked out a thing earlier on Instagram and said any questions for Blair. And one bloke actually messaged saying, you know, he's good looking. He's so good at rugby. Does he have any flaws? Has he got a tiny piece?
Wow.
Now, don't answer because I don't want you to get in
Yeah.
trouble in your first month at Toulouse. But does he have any flaws?
Yeah.
Does he have a 90 piece?
Yeah. Blink your eyes
Fairly-
if he's got a tiny ween.
He's a fairly flawless bloke, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, it was a good question. I liked it. I did like it. I was like, that's
It's
a
a
good
weird
one.
thing that immediate people go to is penis watching in new clubs.
I mean, it's what you're into, So.
You did, my first day, I did have a wee little look around the changing room. I was like, okay. Well, you can only piss with the cock you got, you just got to kind of get out there.
Wait, boys, is that standard when you first, new people come in, new signings come in, or like when you move to new clubs, you're like, all right,
Well,
I'm all right here.
That's one of the more exciting things about moving to a new club is fresh shower activity.
And there's surprises though with it, where you're like, I played against him a long time. Just seems like a fucking. I hated that guy, but great cock.
Yeah, but I think it is it's a way to break the ice, isn't it? In the shower, you get in there, and it's let's see the new guy. Yeah, good dick, mate. Good dick. I reckon you, Smaug. I reckon you'd be all right. I reckon you'd be all right going into the new showers. I think you're all right.
Thanks, man.
Repay the favour. Repay the favour.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You too, man.
Oh right. We better
Very
get off the dick chat.
Get
quick.
off the dick chat.
Seriously odd.
You said before you're in an Airbnb at the moment.
Yeah, Airbnb I've actually moved out on Wednesday to another Airbnb for one more month, and then hopefully by that time I would have found a house. Currently viewing houses around the place, but none have been up to what we want. Apparently.
None have been big enough for all that cash. Oh, there's a lot of cash.
Apparently, you need a pool, because it can get to like 40 degrees here in summer.
And you're back in the Scotland camp soon with your mates and over there. So it's only been, it must feel a bit weird. You only go there for 2 months and then you're straight back into the Scotland setup. So I guess you want to try and leave an impression before you then piss off to the Six Nations.
Yeah, exactly. Like I picked up a bit of a niggle and didn't play the last 2 games, and then all the boys were giving me chat, being like, "Oh, you only want to play Champions Cup games and Scotland games." Like that. I was like, "Fuck's sake! I've just arrived. I'm already getting chat." It'll be good to get back to Scotland, hopefully, and speak to my friends.
Yeah, and that's it. We were just chatting about Haystow a bit earlier on in the show actually, and how Tooney was down at that Bath Gloucester game. Be good to see him back in camp after all those bloody injuries, and he's your roommate, isn't he?
Yeah, he's my roommate. We've been through some tough times together. I've seen him come in and come out of squads through injuries. So it's good to see him back fully fit and getting the run of games under his belt, and hopefully he'll be up there in February, because I need my solid roommate back.
Yeah,
I've been floating about like a nomad. It's not been fun.
You two got weird together, didn't you?
Yeah, we bond well in the room.
I think most roomies do though. Like it's a safe space, isn't it? That you can get.
It is. Yeah, you got the key to having a good roommate is you can sit in silence and it's not awkward, or you could just have banter till like 2-3 in the morning and feel chronically fatigued for training.
Nudity.
Yeah, of course. Always.
You've got to feel comfortably naked around each other as well, haven't you?
Yeah, well, naked, and me and Haystow once tried to make a horror film. I think it was in the 2019 World Cup pre-season. We tried to make a horror film. It was like 5 minutes long. It was fucking hilarious. It never came out.
We'll pay you for it. If we can buy it off you, we will. And we'll release it on our new YouTube channel.
Well done! Well done.
Haystow's got it. Haystow has it. Right. It's a strange one.
Just going back to that feeling with thousands and thousands of fans and the kind of like it being completely crazy, then talk us through bagging a brace on your debut. How did that feel? We were like, there's so many people watching, the vibe, how important this is to the city. And then suddenly you're there on your very first game, finishing a couple of tries.
Yeah, it was a dream start. I think I was a bit surprised that I was playing initially because I'd only been there for 3 days or 4 days before the game, so I didn't think I was going to get a run in just because I hadn't really integrated that much with the team. And then when I found out I was playing, it was crazy, and I was absolutely buzzing. And then scored 2 tries. It was 2 tries and a pumping. It was a good day at the office.
Ah, some French hymns that you're singing all together. The fact that they paid to get you out of your Edinburgh contract, that must have had a little bit of a bearing on you to be like, 6-figure salary to get me out.
Yeah, it was a bit weird. I was thinking that there is quite a lot of pressure that comes with this, like kind of paid me out of my contract, and I turn up and I'm shit. That'd be embarrassing.
What sort of stick did you? The best thing about it is, then the best place to be is probably after that happens, right? It's happened so quick at Edinburgh, and I know because I spoke to you and you were like, mate, it literally happened within a week. The best place to be straight off that is in the changing room with the boys at Edinburgh. Did they give you some stick?
There was nobody really gave me stick, to be honest, but there was like rumors flying about before the Toulon stuff was out. Which was complete fabrication. I asked my agent, I was like, am I going to Toulon? He was like, no, you're absolutely not going to Toulon.
Am I going?
I was like,
I've heard.
I was like, all right, okay. So yeah, there was rumours flying about, and then it came out. I had a Zoom call with I think I kept it pretty under wraps pretty well. And then I had a Zoom call with the Toulouse coaches and some other people, and then literally 10 minutes after the Zoom call finished, it was out in French media being like, oh, it's a done deal. And then it came out in Scotland, and then I turned up for training on the Thursday, I think it was, and I hadn't signed the contract or anything, so my agent was like, don't say anything, and everyone was coming up to me being like, bon chance, yeah, all the best. Like, how are you going? And I was like, no idea what you're talking about. And then it all got announced to the team before the Benetton game, and I still hadn't signed the contract, but because everything was out in the media, they had to say it, and I was like, oh my god, it's going to be embarrassing if I, 1, fail my medical and have to come back, or 2, they pull the contract. But I didn't get any stick. Boys were buzzing for me, to be fair. They were absolutely buzzing.
Oh, mate, yeah, buzzing, absolutely buzzing, and jealous because of the money.
Yeah.
Blair, is this how you normally talk?
I usually say a lot of like, that's uberly good, utterly fantastic.
Yeah, I find your phrasing is very specific and deliberate. You have like you're underrated for your life. It's interesting.
It's because I've had all this pent-up chat that I've not been able to use on anyone.
I can't talk anymore.
I was on FaceTime with Hasto for 2.5 hours the other day.
Oh, wow.
Speaking English, it was so pleasant.
It's weird how those sort of chats go so quick, don't they? You just chat and breeze with old friends for like 4 hours.
We weren't even talking about anything like interesting or meaningful.
Just nonsensical rubbish. Yeah, it's it's the finest kind of conversation.
Are they?
What have people sent in some questions?
Yeah, well, I'll quickly ask one from someone. How do you feel about the move from Glasgow to Toulon? Dickhead!
Very nice.
Brilliant.
No, most of them are pretty generic. Do you know what? Weirdly, Max, how weird is this? Someone said, "How's your gut health?"
How's my gut health?
That's very strange.
We were talking about this just before. How's your gut health, Blair?
That's the Matrix again, I'm telling you, bro.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
My missus is a gut health expert.
Well, that's why. That's so weird.
Yeah,
okay. Okay, that's interesting because we're talking about your microbiome.
Blair, does she give people poo pills?
I don't know if she gives people poo pills. I don't know.
That's not code for anything, by the way. That's
like
genuinely
little capsules of fecal matter of healthy individuals, and they it sort of proliferates your the bad gut bacteria.
I'm not actually sure. I can pass on her information to you if you want to talk to her about poo pills.
I would very much
Could you pull up your poos for me? And that's so fucking niche.
Wait, I'm not joking. I reckon there's a couple of Toulouse fans out there that would eat your poo pills.
Oh. Your gut's your second brain, guys. You got to take care of your gut.
Yeah, okay, we've said that, so you've brought it back down. But no, it's another sort of TikTok sell from Ryan Wilson.
No, well, let's stay on this. Did you know the scale is the Bristol stool scale? So are you a Bristol 4? That's like a steady, like a good solid brown poo, or are you more Bristol 1? It goes up to 7.
I would say I'm a solid brown, consistent logger.
Yeah.
It
a
depends.
real lumberjack.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into further detail about what else can happen down there.
That's fine. I think I'm a Bristol 1 at the moment, very sloppy, but yeah, Bristol 4 is a good thing. So anyway, you can let.
You should always check your poo. You should always look at it
with hands or just visually.
Just visually see if there's any stuff in it.
We have to make this clear because then we'll get sued for everyone fucking eating it and going, oh, well, I heard it and Blair Kinghorn's told me.
Nah, don't eat your poo.
No, don't do that.
First obvious lesson, but just don't.
Yeah.
I think we might have gone off topic a little bit.
Yeah, sorry.
That was the questions, though, not our fault. The rest are just the standard ones like, how you find the language, and we've already done all that shite. So, someone.
What about food? What about food? Are you eating differently since you've gone to the land of ape and the cheese?
Yeah, just.
I think I'm eating a lot more red meat out here. To be fair, like I usually eat a lot of red meat back in Scotland, but I feel like out here I'm having it every day, pretty much every meal. So. Nothing crazy different, to be fair. I've eaten out a lot. Toulouse has got a lot of good restaurants. Quite a lot of the boys own restaurants out here. It must be a thing that you do if you have loads of money. You buy a restaurant. So I need to check out the boys' restaurants and go have a look at them. But there's so many good food spots out here. Need to make my way through the old town. Trying.
Have any of the boys, can you name them? Who's got a restaurant? Who has a restaurant? And can you eat there for free is my question. I know you don't need to, but could you?
I know Romain Ntamack has a restaurant. Julien Marchand has a restaurant as well. The thing that they do, we went to Julien Marchand's restaurant a couple of weeks ago, and it's like an Asian style, upscale Asian style place, and then from 12 o'clock onwards, they clear the tables and they it gets pumping in there.
Oh, how good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, like a John Wick movie.
Cool.
Does it get like that kind of weird?
I don't know. I've actually never seen John Wick.
Have you not?
No, never.
Oh, okay.
Should I watch it on my own?
I feel like you should watch number 1 and potentially 4, and that's it. The other ones are garbage.
Roger.
1 and 4 are good, especially 4 for you, seeing as you're now living in France.
Okay.
But anyway, again, we digress. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's quite cool.
I also told Blair 20 minutes, but now that we know that you're on your own, we're just going to keep you for the next hour.
Well, that's fine. I'm enjoying it.
I think he needs this catharsis to talk his mother tongue.
I'm going to implode if I don't speak more.
Yeah, right, Mark, move us along. You've got to keep us on track here before we start talking about
it's just, again,
no, it's going to devolve into gender.
Those were a lot of the key things that I was that I was keen on. Have you had to do an initiation?
No, I haven't actually. It's not come round yet. They did joke about making me shave my head, which I was slightly worried about, but that turned out not to be true, which I'm quite thankful of. Nothing yet. I'm sure it's coming. It's slightly terrifying.
Thibaut Flamand, he's still there, isn't he?
Yeah, he's there.
Yeah,
he's a really interesting guy, nice bloke.
Very nice guy. He was actually the first person I set eyes on when I went for breakfast on my first day.
Did you get that vibe? The vibe Ryan was talking about when? Oh no, was that before we were talking about when you see a really beautiful human being?
Yeah, that was before. He is a good-looking man, though. He's tall, he's big, he speaks very well. He's been really friendly.
Ntamack, handsome bloke, very handsome bloke. What's he like?
He's handsome. He's muscular, very muscular. Like much bigger than I thought he was going to be.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's like
Stop it.
he's like twisting it so strange. He's so weird. No, he's been out injured with his ACL, so he's obviously been hitting gym quite hard, and he's looking in fantastic shape.
He reminds me of Haystow. He's got quite similar facial features as Haystow.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah. He's looking good. He's back running. He's looking big, muscular, back trotting around on the pitch. Yeah, a cool dude.
Yeah, we'll have to get down his restaurant when we come over.
Yeah, I think so. It's near the stadium. I'll have to go check it out.
Boring. Being French, boring France question. What's the vibe between him and his bro? Because his bro's also there, right? He's a bit younger, I think. Theo,
Theo,
yeah. What are they like?
Right.
Super buds, or are they like? Do they fight all the time?
Sorry, Mark actually speaks French, so he likes to prove that he can speak French.
I don't like to prove. I'm literally my mother tongue is French. I am French.
Like I phone him and he's talking to the kids in French, and they're like, "We don't understand you, Daddy."
He's such a knob. Stop doing it. You only ever do it when you're on the phone.
No, I haven't seen them clash heads, to be fair, but they've not been training. He's not like Romain's not been training with the main squad because he's not back doing rugby sessions yet. But it'll be interesting to see the dynamic when they're both going at each other.
Okay, dynamic, and this is a genuine question. Obviously, the squad is stacked with international quality, but you've got Pierre Mavaka and Julien Marchand, who essentially are both France's starting hookers now, in a weird way. Do they smash the hell out of each other in training?
No, not that I've seen. I don't know what forwards units is like.
Oh, yeah.
So
you do keep the uppies in the back, yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you, it was funny. So when on Captain's Run Day, like back in Scotland, you take it dead seriously. Like people concentrate, and it's like you're switched on. The back's Captain's Run Day is a game of football, and for about 10-15 minutes, but it's serious football. Like you're running around. I'm covering kilometers. I got told after my first week. I wasn't sure really how to play, and I got told after my first week by Antoine. He was like, "You need to play harder, play more aggressive in the Captain's Run football game." And I was like, "Oh, right, okay." So it's like a dead serious thing.
That is
Sorry, sir.
good.
Yeah, I was like, "Okay, Roger, taken on board."
You're going to take that back to Tooney. You're going to tell Tooney, "Listen, do you mind if we just have a kickabout today?"
This is how the stars do it at Toulon. Toulouse.
No, we got to play Gallabon.
There must be something in it though, Blair. Like the way, like you said, you spoke about you want to go and see how a different type of rugby, how a different team like prepares. You'll take that back to Scotland. Like you'll be telling Tony, listen, they do this way, and they're a lot more relaxed. I know that Pete Horn's been like travelling all over the place. I don't know, did he come down to Toulouse?
Yeah, so it was a funny story actually. When they were Toulouse were showing interest in me at the start, it was when JD and Pete Horn were down there for their coaching thing. So then they were asking questions, like Toulouse were asking questions to them about me, and luckily they sang my praises, and I got the deal.
Yeah.
So I owe them something. I'll bring them back some wine, maybe.
Yeah, too right. Pete Horn, because he said he went over them, like looked at the different styles of rugby, and he's gone like everywhere at the moment. And this is obviously Pete Horn, who is now with Scotland boys. But like, what would you take from Toulouse back to Scotland that you go? Because there's obviously moments where you've been like, this is an incredible training, but then on the flip side, you're playing football the day before a game. Like it wouldn't happen back here.
Yeah, I honestly I don't think I know yet what it is. Like I would say, just the skill level of most people in the squad is very high. Like the big boys up front, most of our game kind of comes through how they link with our scrum halves. And their ability to kind of offload in tight situations, and they're also just big humans. Like this Manny, the second row, is just a ginormous bloke. So yeah, I say the skill level's really high. I haven't quite been able to put my finger on what it is, because sometimes you're training and it's just, you know how training can be. Sometimes it's like garbage, and then other times it looks like just pure rugby.
Poetry.
Yes, poetry in motion. But yeah, I don't really know what it is yet. They just seem to. I don't know, like a game day mindset kind of thing. Like they go into every game kind of knowing that they've got the ability to perform really well and play some great rugby. So that maybe, but I'm gonna keep examining the situations as I'm here longer.
They haven't got people like Gilco and Simon Bergen to fuck up training.
I'll never forget when Gilco kept deliberately knocking on that one training session. Oh, good times. Good times.
Apart from Dupont, who have you seen up close that you've actually gone, this player's fucking good, that you hadn't perhaps thought was as good as they actually really are?
I always knew that Ramos was a world-class player from watching him in the Six Nations stuff. He's a quality operator. But when you see him at training and you see him like up close and he's on your team, he is unbelievable. He is like, he's playing at 10 just now and he's driving the team around the pitch. He's a very niggly player. He likes to get up in people's faces. He's very competitive, pretty aggressive. And yeah, he kind of surprised me. I always knew he was really good, but he surprised me. Like he is world class, like world class.
Who was it? I swear, was it? Were we talking?
Yeah,
about
it was him. It was him and Marcus
someone's
Smith.
head into the floor.
Yeah, he was bullying Marcus Smith. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see that, Smaug?
I was on the bench and I could see them going out. I was like, who? They were chirping at each other throughout the whole game. So it was going to kind of come to a head at some point. Yeah, I was just sitting on the bench, like, hey. But no, he's a competitive guy. Kind of reminds me of like a horn brother in conditioning games. That'll be more to Wills than you, Max. Apologies. But yeah, very competitive, very niggly, and a world-class player.
Blair, how'd you get your nickname?
Smaug. Smogger. It's not even that exciting, to be honest. It's my Xbox name that I had from about eight years ago. I was just Smaug, and then boys started calling me it, and then it's infiltrated every level of my playing career. It's been really good.
Why did you choose that in the first place?
I just watched The Hobbit, and then I had to change my Xbox name from BDog794 to something a bit cooler, because I can't be a professional rugby player and the age of 20 and be called BDog794, so I changed my name to Smaug.
You had the opportunity then when you went in to Toulouse and pick your own like nickname, like Killer or Thrasher. Like, you know, when you used to get a laser quest and you could choose the coolest name, like Lightning. Tell me you didn't just go with Smaug. Tell me you told them that.
The thing is, I'm just Blair at the moment.
Is that on the name tag?
It's
Blair Kinghorn.
I've not quite got to that stage where people call me Smaug yet. Although Jack Willis, he's good mates with Robin Hislop, who's at Edinburgh. And Bomber had messaged him being like, oh, how's Smaug getting on? And Jack was like, is this you? Are you Smaug? And I was like, yes, I am Smaug.
Yes.
It's me, Smaug. A few boys say Smaug here and there, but it's mainly just Blair.
How the fuck are you going to translate it? What the fuck is Smaug? What
Yeah.
is Smaug?
That did happen one time at dinner. They're like, oh, why do some people call you Smaug? And I was like, here we go. Time to make up a cool story, and then nothing. And then it just everything lost in translation. I'm a dragon.
Work on that fucking story. Or choose Killer or Lightning.
What do you play on Xbox?
Yeah, go on.
Xbox.
Yeah, what do you play on that, puppy?
I tell you what, I got addicted to, so much so that I would wake up early before training sessions, before going in for breakfast to play, at the age of 25, and that was Elden Ring.
Oh.
Uberly nerdy. It's uberly nerdy. It's class.
Elden Ring?
Yeah.
Wait, which one's that one?
It got Game of the Year last year, I think, or the year before.
Oh, you mean like the Dark Souls vibes?
It's like a Dark Souls game.
Yeah. That is a serious game. That is a very sweaty game.
Yeah, I conquered the the world, and I became Elden Lord Smaug.
There it
That's
is.
it.
There it
That's what you go back into Toulouse with. Elden Lord.
Yeah, I was a Bloodborne man myself. I would have liked to go into Elden Ring. I had to stop
See,
doing that.
I've never been into games like that, and then I played that, and I was addicted. Because usually I'd just play like COD or Fortnite. But yeah, played Elden Ring for a bit.
Boys, it
Loved
is.
it.
I'll tell you, it's an addiction though. Like lockdown, I got addicted. Jax, my boy, fucking. How old's my son? 7 or 8? Is he 8? He's 9. He's 9. Addicted, genuinely addicted to Fortnite. That's all he talks about, and it sounds like he's a drug dealer now because he says I'm cranking 90s. Do you know what that means?
Yeah, you crank 90s.
Mate, I'm like, what? And what was the other thing? Oh, I dropped a 20 bomb. And I'm like, whoa. You dealing at school, son? Are you dealing at school? No. Just
Yeah, it's mad.
dropping 20 bombs and cranking 90s sounds like drug talk.
Yeah. It's a good way to pass the time when you don't have anyone to speak to.
No, yeah,
When you're a hermit.
Hey, wait, hang on. Now that Blair's left Edinburgh, Ryan, do you get to finally talk about Cockers and how great he was as a coach?
He hated Cockers as well, so.
My mate Dickie.
No, I heard Magnus told me those were the darkest days of his career, bar none. By far and away, the worst time of his life was with Cockerill. And Magnus is a tough guy. Like, he's hard-nosed. He's quite stubborn and obtuse. And he just gets on with it. So for a man like that to say that, that must have been quite awful.
Yeah, I think worse for a forward because they dealt with Cockers throughout the whole day. To be fair, the whole day. The whole day. Me and Cockers got on really well. I don't know. He liked me. So I did get it. It was a tough period for a lot of people at the club. But no, me and Dickie got on pretty well. Like, yeah.
You're right. I think it's just the forwards. I think it was the forward because he ran the forward sessions and the stories of Marth and Skewy and
like if he tells me like, oh, like you got to like stick your head in there, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, like I'm a fullback, it's fine. Whereas the forwards, you got to, or you're not playing. So it's kind of a bit different. But yeah, no, there was a few dark boys in that change room, I think, for a few years. Certainly.
There were. But like Bergie, he saw the light, came over to Glasgow. He had some stories. Barks obviously retired. Absolutely despised the man. Like tried to run under the bus when he left. It was hilarious. There's beautiful things. But let's move on to the Six Nations. Blair, Scotland. There's Six Nations. Talk to us. What are the chances? Because Max has agreed. I've said it. Everyone wants to see England play a better game, but they don't care if they finish like third or fourth, right? They'd rather England just went out and threw the ball about like Scotland do, play a better game, but not finish that well. Scotland, we're in a good place. We were talking about the Sevens earlier. We've got a ridiculous team. Talk to us. What are the chances? How are we going?
I think we're in a good place. I think the real disappointment of the World Cup will actually be beneficial to us. I think. Apologies. I think it'll be really good learning for us, and I think it's time that we do make the step. I know we said it a lot after every Six Nations, like, oh, we need to take the step in becoming a team that can play well for 80 minutes. Whereas in big games, we've not been able to perform. Like, we've played some good rugby, and it's been like, oh yeah, look, they're playing a great brand of rugby and they're winning these games, but they're games that we're meant to win, and the occasional game that we're the underdog, like we win a big game away from home. So it's the game we just need to back up performance after performance, and sometimes win sticky. Like a lot of the times we're not winning those sticky games where you got to kick points, you got to kick corners, sort of thing. So I think it's going to be a real good kind of development for us to progress as a team and try and, like, I don't know, I heard someone say that we hadn't won 3 Six Nations games in a row or something like that. I don't know for how long. So it's about backing it up. Like, we always win a big game in the Six Nations, but we never seem to back up in the games that matter. So I'm excited, that's for sure.
Wales away, first up, right? This is how I look at it, because you've got Wales away first up. You do that, win that. Then is it England at home? You've got England and France at home. It's going to be weird playing against your new teammates and
My
mates.
mateys.
Yeah. They'll be calling you Lord Smaug by then.
That's me.
And then obviously the toughest one right at the end, go over to the Aviva and play Ireland. So actually, you look at the run of games that Scotland got. This is it. I think we're going to finally win the Six Nations.
I think so. If not now, then when? I think so. I think why not? I think we've not won away from home at Wales in a while, so that'll be a kind of good place to go. Win at the start of the Six Nations to kind of get the momentum going. Winning in a tough place. It's a tough place to go and win. So if we do that, I think it will get the ball rolling, and then England, they'll come up, and then we'll do our thing against England as we always do, and then just keep rolling.
So good. So, do you hear that, Max? The gimme, the easy game, and there's no easy game. There is one for Scottish people. That's what he's saying. Although, Ryan, your point, you do make that prediction. Now that's 3 or 4 years in a row. You sort of you say the same thing. You feel that.
Yeah, I know, but this is the year.
You say those exact words. I feel like those are the exact words you use.
Okay.
We should make a bet. It's going to be the year. I think it's going to be the year.
Yeah.
It's going to be the year.
Blair, what's your prediction for the Six Nations? Where will Scotland end?
Oh, we'll win it.
Easy. Done.
Absolutely.
Easy.
Should we slam it?
Do you fancy? No, actually, this is a genuine question. I know we've talked some sort of weird subjects. Do you fancy the Grand Slam?
Yeah. It'd be pretty cool. Pretty cool. Can't wait for people to clip this up and take it in the wrong way. I remember I said something in a press conference before the last game of the World Cup. It was a loaded question from the reporters, like, so Ireland are on a 15-game winning run. Do you feel like you guys can end it? And I was like, yeah, I feel like we can go and win and end. They've been on a good streak. Yeah, we can end their streak. Boom, headlines, and I'm getting abuse even to the day, even to the day. Oh,
we promised not to get you in trouble.
Irish reporter as well. Loaded question. Bastard.
Yeah, there are some of those out there, but it is stupid, isn't it? Because you'll get asked these questions over the next few weeks once they announce the squad and stuff, and can Scotland do it? What do they want you to say? No, fuck, I don't think we can.
Yeah, it's like
great.
Oh no, I don't think we can do it. Oh, cool. But then when you back yourself and you're like, yeah, I think we can do it. Like, whoa, it's unbelievable. Fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, but we've got all of those now, you see. And what we found even during the World Cup, to this day, Max, Ryan and myself still get notifications of a South African guy going back to an Irish person from one of the initial, who's going to win in the group games going, you suck. And it's it's been 3 months.
And the 7-1 chat, they're still slagging each other off over that.
Yeah, it's class.
So nosy.
So, all right. So, apart from the Grand Slam for Scotland, where do we see the other side squaring up? Who's going to be your biggest test, would you say?
Oh, no, that is a good one. I think they're all different challenges in their own circumstance. I think playing away from home is always challenging. I think, do you say we have Ireland away from home? That's obviously going to be a ferocious battle. France at home is quite a nice one. I like playing France at home. I think that we have a good chance there.
There's it. We got him.
No, but
got him! Bloody got him! That's all I wanted.
We've had good success over France playing them at home the last 5 or 6 years. So yeah, I think that going to Wales to start off the competition, they didn't have a good Six Nations last year. But that's always a hard place to go. We've not won there in a while. So that'll be a tough place to start the campaign. But I think it should be a fairly tight competition, to be honest.
Just on a couple of the characters in the Scotland squad, obviously I know the answers to this, but who are the characters in there? I know you've bonded well with a good mate of mine, Sione Tuipulotu.
Yes. Nons is a hell of a bloke.
Sorry, what did you call? What's his name? Nons.
No, Nons.
Not Nons. No, not Nons. Nons.
Nons. That's why. I'll just say Sione. He's a character.
Yeah, I did that on commentary the other day. I said big Nons and little Nons because we've got Sione Vailanu.
Yeah.
The commentator looked at me and was like, "Did you just call one big Nons?"
I don't know what it is in Scotland, but down in England, it's not that friendly a term.
No. But go on, yeah.
He's certainly a character. He's kind of come into his own the last couple of years. He had a tough start when he first came over. It was during COVID times. He was locked in the Marriott for like 2 months with the rooms in the Marriott don't have windows. It's just like floor to ceiling is glass, but you can't open it. So he's like locked in there for 2 months, no fresh air, going mad, not knowing any of the boys. So it's good to see him, come out of his shell now.
Big Dewey.
Apologies. Dwayne, Big Dwayne. Yeah, he is just an odd bloke. He is hilarious. Him and Gregor have this very weird relationship where he's like, no, trust Dwayne, I'll do my thing, I'll sprint and I'll score. And he say that to Gregor and shit like that.
No, it's true. And then Gregor owes him cash when he scores tries and stuff, right?
Yeah, it's funny. They have bets if you run into touch as well, like you owe the kitty £10 or whatever. And he calls it Gregor Daddy. It's weird.
He calls him Daddy Gregor.
So yeah,
do you boys know why he's called Dwayne? Do you guys, you fellas know that?
No, hit me.
Give it to a Smaug. You know why he's Dwayne, don't you?
Yeah, it's the pinnacle of your rugby career. You pick for the Lions. You then in camp, like on tour, and the head coach thinks that your name is Dwayne. So in meetings, he's calling Duan Dwayne. And then it's just stuck.
That is the greatest thing I've ever heard.
Outrageous behaviour.
Straight off the bat, Warren Gatland, Dwayne.
How's it going, Dwayne? And you can imagine Dewey would be like, oh yeah, fine, I'm all good, thanks.
So he didn't correct him. He just
no. I think they corrected it like 2 weeks after, but now he's just Dwayne.
So then all the boys just call him Dwayne from now on, don't they?
Yeah,
sorry.
Hold on, he fucking loves it.
Yeah.
Right, time for Max's Minds of Moria, where he poses some of the biggest, most incisive questions that the world needs to know the answers to. Hit it.
Don't fucking fire out an Xbox question.
No, it's okay. We'll still clear with that. We'll steer clear. We'll try and get into some kind of psychoanalysis here. Blair, if you could have a scale of a measurement above all the people's heads that you meet, what would that scale measure?
Hold on, I don't understand the question. Just say that again.
If there was a scale of measurement above people's heads that you could see, only you could see it, right, Brian? So you could see a scale of measurement. What would the value be of? What are we measuring?
I've had that weird thought for so long as a child. But
for example, their status, their level of happiness, their wealth, their body.
Mine was always, if a bird fancies you, wouldn't it be nice to know? Wouldn't it be lovely to know?
No, this isn't.
Sorry, I was just excited. I've never heard this question. It's so exciting.
Okay, now I understand the question. So it's almost like a box at the top of the head.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I would like one for males over the age of 18 to have a specific measurement of penis length.
Cock size.
And it would be two measurements. It would be resting place and happy place.
Resting.
But they have to be over the age of 18 and male.
Yeah,
it would. Do you know what? It would prevent people from having to explain, like like it's a grower and stuff like that.
That awkward conversation at work every time. Do you know what I mean? You're like, at least it's there. Shouldn't it have the third with sort of girth versus, or not?
Yeah, girth is an underrated measurement. That's for sure.
Why is girth your friend, Mark? Is it?
No one wants to be pierced with a flagpole, mate. They just want to feel consumed.
I think money would be interesting above people's head. That's like a classic that you would think, but it would certainly, I think, ruin some friendships. Maybe that one friend who's on loads of money, and then you actually know he's on loads of money, but he's a moth and doesn't buy drinks or buy dinner and shit like that. I think it could cause some turmoil.
But the cock thing would just make everybody happy.
I like that, Max.
It would be a bit weird walking into dinner with your dad and you see his dick measurement
He's
above his
got
head.
an absolute horse's cock.
Or like moral compass. That'd be interesting. Ooh. Might be a bit
Slightly deeper,
overwhelming there. You get into some weirdness. Would you rather forget who you are, or have everyone else forget who you were?
Shit.
So if I forget who I am, does everyone who still knows who I am think that I am still who I was?
Indeed.
Very well.
Um,
Well explained.
When I told you fancy coming on the podcast, do you think you'd be answering shit like that?
I love this sort of thing. I will forget who I am for the benefit of everyone who knows me, mainly my family.
Oh, that's touching.
But then day to day, if I don't know who I am, surely I'm going to change. Then they're not going to like me anymore, or will I just have to win them over with a brand new personality?
There's a good movie about this, isn't there?
Yeah,
you don't get rid of your granddad with dementia. Like, you still love him, you know. Like, you can't.
Yeah, I'd forget who I am, I reckon. What would you do?
Yeah, I think forgetting who you was, that'd be useful. It'd be like a clean slate.
Fresh start.
Ooh, but then, when does it reset though? Because there is the Christopher Nolan Memento. That's the one where you can create who you are because it resets every day.
Then you're a blank slate. You just started again, but you've still got all your sort of micro skills and faculties and education, etc.
But it's one blank slate going forward rather than a recycling 24 hours.
No, it's not recycling. You don't have like a photograph. It's not 50 First Dates. Yeah, don't worry about that. Okay, I've got one last question for you, Blair.
Roger.
It's Mortal Kombat right now. It's you with your bare hands, only what God gave you, and you must fight some kind of animal. What is the largest animal you'd be willing to take on in a serious confrontation of life and death?
We talk about this in the team room all the time in Scotland.
Oh, well, then you should be very well prepared.
It's like, you reckon if like a gorilla came in here, you'd be fine? Like, no, crazy. Right, the largest animal I could subdue with my bare hands. My initial thought is to go with something like a horse, potentially.
That's a common one, but a horse can be big. They're 700-kilo animals.
Yeah,
Come on,
the way that they kick is certainly dangerous. That could be maybe take something out of its comfort zone. Can I take something that is usually a water-based animal into a dry room?
Like a great white shark on land.
Lure the great white shark into the sandpit next door.
Or can it be multiple animals creating a larger circumference of one big animal?
What?
I could take on 10,000 flies, and it would be a bigger circumference than a horse.
That's incredible. I just
Blair, why do you have to be so weird?
You're taking flies down.
Take on a
You're taking on a fucking swarm of fucking flies.
Nah, I'll take on a normal animal. I don't know. You know what? Oh, here's a good one. You know what I take on? I take on a camel. I'd take on a camel so easily.
Yeah, I said llama. Camels are big though, but I said llama. But you know who said? You know, Ollie Lawrence said a giraffe, lads. Last night,
it's enormous.
I was watching no. This was on Saturday night. I was watching the giraffes fight off a lions. These lions were trying to take it down, and he was just swatting them like flies. And Ollie Lawrence thinks he can just tackle a bull giraffe in the kneecap.
Tackling him, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, he said he would take out their MCLs or ACLs first.
Nah, those lions were trying really hard to take out those ACLs. It wasn't happening.
Yeah,
I feel like a camel's not very mobile. I reckon I've got a good shot with that.
Blair, who's had the worst call? Who's had the worst call in the Scot? You've talked about, like, you talk about this in the Scotland squad. Who's made like a dreadful call?
What, in terms of this conversation we're having right now?
Yeah, this exact conversation. Who's like, I could take down, you know?
A lot of people think that they can take down some sort of bear or a gorilla, and they're just so stupid.
Yeah.
Like,
imagine believing that. That's ridiculous.
Have you seen how powerful a gorilla is?
Yeah,
if he did CMJ like most rugby players do, it would just break all records. They're so dynamic and powerful. It's crazy.
Yeah, and the way they nonchalantly hang off things one armed, swing around.
It's obscene.
It
Genetic
is
freaks.
Blair, have you had dinner yet?
Guys, I'm having steak and I'm
Okay.
having sweet potato. Steak, sweet potato, some olive oil, and a banana.
That's very athletic of you.
Well, it's quick and easy. You know, I'm going for speed, and also it hits my nutritional values.
So that is all the time we've got left for this week. A huge thank you to Blair for coming in and chatting to us from Toulouse. Best of luck for the Six Nations and, of course, for the rest of the season at your brand new club. And a huge thank you to Ryan and Max, as always, and to you all for listening and watching. We'll see you all next week.
More or nothing.
Au revoir.